The stress-symptom-suffering-spiral is a great way of portraying how stress causes and perpetuates your symptoms and suffering. But where does that spiral start? Whilst symptoms and suffering from injuries, incidents and significant trauma only happen occasionally, stress happens to all of us on a regular basis, and so stress is the key to this self-perpetuating cycle. Stress, which becomes prolonged, creates inflammation in the body. Inflammation is a very useful tool after injury as it promotes healing, but in the absence of a cut, a bruise or a short-term infection, the inflammation produced becomes problematic because when left unchecked it has no useful purpose, and so it produces symptoms. Symptoms caused by inflammation could be pain, swelling, stiffness or redness anywhere in the mind or body, and all sorts of acute and chronic physical and emotional health conditions have inflammation at their heart, and so could, in all probability, be triggered by stress. Suffering is bound to ensue once symptoms occur. No inflammation-induced symptoms are enjoyable, and those with health concerns tend to describe themselves as suffering from or being a sufferer of. So it stands to reason that experiencing symptoms will lead to suffering. Stress is a definite byproduct of suffering, and so it doesn't stop there. This second-hand stress then promotes more inflammation-triggered symptoms, which leads to more suffering, which in turn creates more stress, which further feeds into the stress-symptom-suffering-spiral effect. So what can be done to make it stop? Whilst you could treat the symptoms, and sometimes this is essential, as you haven't dealt with the stress, it will remain active, and in all probability create a different set of symptoms, which will no doubt lead on to yet more suffering and stress. So if you can deal with the initial stress, which started the spiral, as well as any symptoms of concern, then you have a far better chance of being able to step off the stress-symptom-suffering spiral, break free from your symptomatic limitations, and regain your health and happiness.